Today I'd like to talk about the recent incident everyone has heard of. That's right, that dreadful incident when an army of slimes took over a facility for minutes. There were several containers left in the lab which were not processed properly during the experiment related to... If you know about the experiment, you would already know that the contents of those containers are merely useless leftovers that only prove the experiment has failed. Our researchers felt there was no need to dispose of them. It was obvious that one newbie to the research team had no idea what was inside those containers. Employee Marie found the containers of pink slime and felt that they could pose a threat. It was assumed that she thoroughly concealed and kept them in status. If my assumption is correct, the melted object in those containers was probably I became sure of this when I read the passage that described its appearance as that of an adolescent human. A brother. Marie had a brother whom she lost during her childhood. It all started when she felt an attachment to the childlike pink slime that followed her around. Marie showed an unprecedented level of decrease in her mental corruption. Indeed, it was extremely unusual. Of course, it was certain that the abnormality somehow affected her in a positive way, but that was the end of the benefits. Her colleagues started noticing her odd behaviors. They tried to ask her about them. It was the right thing to do. They were educated about the potential implications of a steep decrease in mental corruption levels and understood that a person disappearing every single break time is a dangerous sign. However, Marie didn't say a word to them and ended up detained in a counseling room until she opened up. Meanwhile, this slimy creature that had forgotten everything instinctively remembered one thing. It had to get out of the facility, no matter what. This abnormality once again felt extremely nervous when Marie didn't show up on time. It thought that she was in danger. It was then that it decided to escape with her. A rare bond had been formed between the two. They cared about each other from the bottoms of their hearts. Confined within the counseling room, Marie eventually gave up her right to remain silent and began to reveal what she had done, how she kept the contents inside the container, and how she was able to form a bond with it. However, she couldn't finish her words. This is because she melted in the blink of an eye, moments after signs of an anomaly showed up on our skin. Yes, she quite literally melted in her entirety. And that wasn't the end of it. The slime that once was Marie a few seconds ago began to move. It wasn't a difficult task for a fluid creature to slide under the door of the counseling room. Did it have a speck of human rationality? No. Just like a newborn duckling blindly follows its mother, it simply moved towards the abnormality. And it wasn't just Marie that turned into slime. Every single employee who had made contact with her in some way began to melt too. Those who were questioning her, who had shared a meal with her, who had worked together. Soon, this army of slime began to attack the other employees, all for the mother slime, the abnormality they loved. Yes, out of love and love alone, they killed. Taken care of. And my dear employees, I do hope you all didn't forget to put on the gas masks we distributed to you before we entered, did you? I do hope that no one took it off out of boredom or stuffiness. I must inform you all that some of you are already infected by the slime I told you about. We did not give gas masks to some of you, and we did say that it was because we were out of stock. Though, to be truthful, it was just so we could distinguish between those who were infected and those who were not. You may feel fine now, but before an hour passes, your flesh and bones will start to melt, and your mind will disintegrate into pitch black nothingness. They will begin trying to wreak havoc on the facility. You'll probably, as your first action in your new form, jump at the employees sitting right next to you, all for the mess of slime you so adore. Yes, I know it's unbelievable. You feel so alive and clear now. Just how on earth could you melt down into slime? And yet you will. It's not your fault, of course. Someone among you made contact with the slime abnormality, and you were just the unlucky sap who didn't happen to be around that person. It's meaningless now to determine patient zero. I doubt they had any idea how catastrophic the results of their actions would be. They did it out of pure affection, after all. Finally, those uninfected who are wearing masks, please ensure you pay extra attention to your hygiene and immediately report when you see an employee acting out of the ordinary. You'll simply be infected as well if you attempt to help them. Now, in your desks, there will be 9mm pistols, all perfectly locked and loaded. What you must do now should be clear. We will not open the doors until the situation is taken care of. If you think this is too cruel, allow me to remind you that this is your job. Hope to see you again once everything has been handled.